Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesdays with Tuesday. I'm Tuesday and I'll be reading to you from one of my books. I write fantasy romance under the name Mary E. Twomey, and cozy mysteries under the name Molly Maple, and romance under the name Tuesday Embers. But today we're just going to be fantasy girls and boys and people. So today we're going to read Savage Hearts, the next chapter. If you've missed the previous chapters, I highly recommend reading those ones. Otherwise, this is going to make no sense to you. So today we are in chapter 13. We don't know what's going to happen. It's very exciting. Chapter 13, Corrupting Santos. The ride to the curse tree in Buckley takes 2 days, Cruz informs Adelita. She sighs at the long car ride but doesn't otherwise complain. She's used to a 5-minute trip to work and back, not days across the country, all to see a tree with a bunch of axes stuck in it. I hope it takes a week. When she's sure Cruz is hypnotized by the road and Rafi's asleep, she rests her hand in the seat between us. It's an invitation for me to link my littlest finger around hers. When I do it, she smiles and refuses to look at me. I've never made a woman bashful before, and I love it. I feel so strong and powerful. And confused. Why doesn't she look at me like I'm a savage? Maybe she still doesn't understand my upbringing. She's so sweet, holding onto my finger like it's some scandal she doesn't want Cruz or Raphael to see. Not that I blame her, she doesn't know them. Plus, it's anybody's guess what will provoke Cruz's temper on any given day. Traffic gets more condensed as evening nears, so Cruz pulls off to refuel. Do you want me to take a turn driving? Adelita offers. Why? Do you think you'll be able to get us all the way back to your precious home without me realizing where you're taking us? My internal groan matches Raphael's loud noise of exasperation as he stretches. She's offering because she's nice, dummy. She doesn't know you're a control freak. Then Raphael explains to Adelita, Cruz won't let anyone else drive. He's got issues. I need to stretch my legs. It's her polite way of letting us know she's had it with Cruz, but is too polite to go head-to-head with him. She grabs her purse and steps out of the car. Before Cruz can tell me to watch her, I'm hot on her heels. Though she can clearly take care of herself in a fight, she's still to be protected. It's an oddly pleasant experience, walking into the convenience store with her. The clerk looks up, and I'm guessing he surmises we're a couple. The thought makes me smile as she picks an aisle and browses through the selection of nuts and snacks. What are you grinning about? She asks curiously. I shove my hands in my pockets and shrug, unable to help myself. We even match, thanks to Cruz picking out the same black t-shirt and jeans uniform we all wear. Everything is to be studied, Father used to say. I take it to heart with Adelita and catalog what items she frowns at and which she selects. A packet of chili candies that the package guarantees are screaming hot, a sleeve of caramels, trail mix, and a bottle of water. A smile builds with each item she chooses. Then her pleasant expression falls with a sudden crash. Oh, you don't eat sugar. I forgot. Though she looks only mildly put out about it, something in me shifts. I want to give her whatever it is that'll make her smile again, even if it's as monumental as me going against Father's edicts. I sign and mouth, I'll try it. And just like that, she lights up like a Christmas tree. She's got one of those smiles that makes the whole room fade away and leaves you with the impression that the world might not be such a grim place after all. I don't know how she does it. Heart-shaped. That's what her mouth is like. Not like the hearts Father used to carve out of people's chests and boil in our stew to give us extra endurance. The kind of hearts that children in Cruz's village draw on paper and giggle about. It's a pretty shape, and I find that I have a hard time focusing when her lips move. Really? I mean, you don't have to, but I think you'll like this. Oh, what, this gets to be your very first sugar? You'll be spoiled for life. Then she does something so endearing, I'm not sure I'll be of any use if she actually does need protecting. Adelita squeezes my hand. Anyone can see, like I'm a normal man and she's happy to be near me. I'm a ball of nerves and joy when she pulls me over to the machine Cruz sometimes uses when he's been driving too long. Only she doesn't go for the coffee. She deposits her treasures in my hands and grins up at me before she turns and fixes 4 hot chocolates with varying flavors mixed together. She secures them in a cardboard carrier. But before she can lift them, my body moves to pick them up for her. You don't have to do that. Thank you. But now you're carrying everything. That's hardly fair. I shrug, letting her know that this is how it's going to be. I'm not sure I'm capable of holding myself back. If she needs something, even a thing as small as carrying her trinkets, she lets me come near her, which is no small blessing. If she keeps looking at me like that, she can have whatever she likes as far as I'm concerned. I scare the women in the village. They know too much of Kalku culture and still too little to trust me. They don't like to look me in the eye, and whenever I enter a room, they stop talking and usually find a polite way to leave. It's better than the shrieking they used to do when I was first brought to the village. But Adelita makes eye contact. She beams at me with this light that knocks the air from my chest. She doesn't assume I'm savage or too dangerous to come near. In fact, she opted to stay in the same room as me last night. Actually chose me. No one chooses me. Even in the Kalku, Santiago was selected for the more prestigious displays of magic. I was reserved for torture and grunt work. No wonder they didn't tell me there was a woman who needed tracking and gave Santiago that task instead. I'm so lost in my thoughts that I don't see her card until it's nearly in the machine. I shake my head and set down the items, holding my hand to her to stop from doing something detrimental to our mission. We need to get to the curse tree in Buckley undetected. That means no cards, nothing that can be tracked. I try to sign as much to her, but she doesn't understand my urgency. She thinks I'm trying to be chivalrous and not let her pay, which is something I kick myself for not doing. I know she'll be miffed, but I take her card from her hand and put it back in her purse. I pay for the food with cash, then grab it all before she can get too frustrated in front of the cashier. When we get to the car, Raphael explains it all for me, which lessens my angst a bit at going over her head. Her shoulders slump. Oh, I didn't realize. I don't have any cash on me. I can't stop at an ATM and withdraw anything. At some point, I need to, eat and buy a change of clothes. Obviously, I'll buy her whatever she needs, whatever she wants. Does she not know that? But Cruz beats me to it. We travel with more cash than anyone could ever need, so if you want something, say so. He meets her eyes in the rearview mirror. I know you don't want to hear that, but whenever we pull someone from a bad situation, this is standard. No one expects you to have a ton of cash on you, so don't let your pride get all wounded over it. Oddly, it's the nicest thing he said in a while. Odder still is that she seems to hear it, nodding once to let us know she won't fight us on this. Thank you. Can we at least keep a tally of my expenses so that when all this blows over, I can pay you back? No, Cruz rules unapologetically, without equivocation. What'd you get us, Linda? Raphael turns in his seat as Cruz starts driving. Her sweet smile brightens the entire interior of the car, even as the sun sets outside. Only the best hot chocolate you'll ever have in your life. Hot chocolate? Rafi smirks at her cuteness. You must think I'm a boy still. We usually just get coffee. At night? She shakes her head as she carefully pops open the lids. It makes me sad that you don't think like a little boy anymore. You've been on the job too long if that's true. Rafi lets out an airy laugh through his nose. Of all of us, he's the least adult. A beautiful woman who's making me a drink. That's not something that happens to me every day. Ava, Cruz's sister, brought me water once when she was bringing Raphael some wine. When I was first rescued and brought to the village, Ava was nice to me because her brother was firm that I would be a permanent fixture in the Caceres tribe. Going against Cruz just isn't something that people are willing to do outright. I remember Ava's hand shaking when she handed me the water. The daughter of the chief, terrified of me. Santos the savage. Ava hugs me now, but it took a long time for her to get used to me. Even though she tells people I'm her brother, I know I'll always be the outsider, the prop that moves, or that proves rehabilitation is possible for those they rescue. Most other refugees aren't allowed to stay, but are shipped back to their old lives. Except I had nothing to return to. Cruz made an impasse an impassioned case for my citizenship, but in the end, it took the chief adopting me for the tribe to allow me to stay. They don't exactly warm to outsiders, much less if the person in question is liberated from an enemy's clutches. The enormous wall around their village is supposed to keep people like me out. It's their point of pride, some of them, a thing that can look to and draw comfort, certain that no one is polluting their way of life, except for me. Adelita doesn't hesitate when she hands me the lids to hold. In fact, she smiles a little when her finger brushes my palm. Rafi squints in her direction. What are you doing to those? Cruz has a thing about being poisoned. Seriously? You're worried about me poisoning you? She's not as afraid of us, now that our secret is out. If I wanted to kill you, I could just crush your throat. When this doesn't alleviate anyone's concerns, she sighs. Santos is watching me. You're safe from the big, scary therapist. Raphael chuckles. Good to know. He claps Cruz on the shoulder. How much longer till we're safe enough to stop for the night? Oh, fearless leader. Cruz isn't choking the steering wheel, so I know he's not stressed about a tail. The traffic is thicker than he'd like for this time of the evening, but he's not overly aggressive about it. Honestly, we should probably break for the night soon. We're not getting anywhere in this mess. His eyes flick to a lit-up sign near the freeway's entrance. There's some big concert in town. That's what's slowing everything down. Adelita opens the hot chili candies and drops 6 in each cup, and then 2 caramels before refastening the lids. I quirk my eyebrow at her mischievous grin. You won't regret it. Not to brag, but I make the best gas station hot chocolate in the universe. When I reach for one, she inches them away with that same grin that makes me feel like I'm a teenager with possibilities, instead of an adult with inevitabilities. Not yet, she scolds me. You'll burn your tongue. You have to wait 20 minutes. Gotta let the candies melt. It's worth the wait, though. Cruz tosses over his shoulder to her as he merges toward the off-ramp. Santos doesn't do sugar. Her jaw tightens, but beyond a slight clip in her voice, she doesn't offer up willingly that Cruz is getting on her nerves. She's so very controlled. He said he'd give it a try. He'd trust me not to poison him with sweetness. Cruz's eyes flick to me in the mirror. So, you eat sugar now, do you? I shrug and turn my chin toward the window to avoid his question. Rafi answers for me. So what if he does? Good for you, Santos. Live a little. He turns in his seat to look at Adelita. Are you sure you were only gifted with strength and not persuasion, too? Never thought I'd see the day he'd budge on that. Here's to corrupting Santos. He chuckles, but she glances up at me with a worried expression. Am I hurting you? Am I making you do something bad? I don't want to corrupt something good. Her words stun me so much that I gape at her innocence. Even Raphael goes silent. My hands move slowly, and I hope she can understand the words on my lips. I am not something good. I was corrupted from the time I was a baby. Lakushi took me from my mother's arms, and I never saw her again. It's the wrong thing to say, apparently, even though it's true. Genuine pain slashes her features, tenting her eyebrows and twisting that heart of a mouth into a grimace. Why would you say that? It's not true, Santos. Bad people don't stitch up strangers. Bad people don't help me change my clothes in such a respectful way. Bad people don't buy me candy and hot chocolate. She shakes her head as Cruz exits the freeway and searches silently for a motel in the night. Some people have to work harder to overcome their upbringing is all. But you don't strike me as a man who's afraid of hard work. Rafi's voice is rough and with held back emotion when he speaks. I hope you're listening to her, Santos. Then she places her hand atop mine while balancing the drink carrier on her lap. I freeze because I'm afraid if I breathe, even something that small might shatter the sweetness of the moment. Real warmth flows through her and sinks into me. It's a soothing balm for the cold and cracked parts I've grown accustomed to. For the first time in my life, I feel like being me might not always be such a terrible thing. Thank you for reading chapter 13 with me. I don't know if you noticed, but I had a little buddy join me halfway through. This is one of my cats. This is Winter Wonderland Peanut Butter. I had very little choice in the name. But I regret nothing. This baby came to me as a baby, just like freshly weaned, like baby. And he was the runt of the litter and super teeny tiny. So he grew up. I used to wear like infinity scarves and put him in my scarf so that he could just be right over my heart because he was so tiny. And so I would write books with him just purring on my chest, this little tiny kitten. And now he's a big giant boy. Look at this big giant boy. But he still loves a good snuggle. And when I'm reading, sometimes he likes to sit on my lap and let me read to him, which builds my self-esteem because then I feel like I'm not so bad of a reader if he'll sit around and listen to it. Thank you for reading with me. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Maybe we'll see one of my other cats. Maybe they'll stop in for a little enjoyment with you.